We move on once again. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with his Danish counterpart Lars Løkke Rasmussen in Beijing today. The meeting marked the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries and aimed to deepen cooperation, trade, green development and diplomacy. The meeting also touched on China-EU relations ahead of Denmark's upcoming EU Council presidency. China's foreign minister stated that China fully respects Denmark's sovereignty and territorial integrity on the Greenland issue. Wang also expressed hope that Denmark will continue to support what he called China's legitimate position on matters concerning its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Both sides acknowledged a widespread consensus on safeguarding multilateralism and defending free trade. In his meeting with Danish counterpart, Wang also said that China is willing to strengthen dialogue and cooperation with the European Union. We stay in the Indo-Pacific, where Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense has reported a significant rise in military activity near its territory, detecting 21 sorties of People's Liberation Army, 8 People's Liberation Army Navy vessels and 3 official ships. Of these, 16 PLA aircraft crossed the Taiwan Strait median line, entering Taiwan's northern, southwestern and eastern air defense identification zones. This follows a similar pattern from Sunday, when 16 PLA aircraft and several planned vessels were also detected in the area. In response, Taiwan has been closely monitoring Chinese activity in the region. Taiwan's military is advancing its defense capabilities, having completed initial evaluations of its 6-month generation Tianqiong missiles. Set to be produced next year, these missiles offer enhanced air defense with a maximum interception altitude of 70 kilometers, surpassing previous systems like the Tianqiong-3 and the PAC-3. This development significantly strengthens Taiwan's ability to intercept high-altitude ballistic and cruise missiles. Meanwhile, the deputy head of Taiwan's Coast Guard Administration, Hyesang Ching-chen, says that Taiwan is not ruling out political warfare from China. We move back to Europe once again, where the new Pope Leo XIV held a closed-door meeting at the Vatican with US Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. According to the Holy See, the discussion touched on religious freedom, bilateral ties and global issues, including ongoing conflicts affecting the world today. The visit comes just days after Pope Leo's inaugural Mass and his public call for an end to Russia's war in Ukraine. After their Vatican talks, Vance and Rubio also met with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in Rome, as the administration continues its engagement on European security and religious dialogue. In a controversial claim, Telegram founder Pavel Durov says he was approached by the head of French intelligence, Nicolas Lerner, with a request to ban conservative Romanian voices on Telegram ahead of the country's elections. Durov says the meeting took place at the luxurious hotel in Paris. Durov refused, stating that Telegram has never censored protesters in Russia, Belarus or Iran and won't start in Europe. The French Foreign Ministry has strongly denied the allegations, calling them baseless and urging respect for Romania's democratic process. The claim comes just as centrist Mayor Năcindor Dan scored a stunning presidential victory over a hard-right Trump-inspired nationalist candidate. And we stay in Eastern Europe. Poland's presidential election is headed off to a runoff after a tight first round, with Liberal incumbent Rafał Trzaskowski and of the Civic Coalition leading with 31.2%, just ahead of nationalist Karol Nawrocki of Law and Justice on 29.7%, according to exit polls. Despite pre-election polls predicting a larger lead, Trzaskowski now faces a narrow path to victory on June the 1st. Let's listen in to what the Liberal candidate in the presidential election, Rafał Trzaskowski, had to say.
Mówiłem wam 8 miesięcy temu, że będzie bardzo, bardzo blisko. I jest bardzo blisko. Bardzo się cieszę z tego, że wygrałem pierwszą turę, ale dużo pracy przed nami. Potrzebna jest pełna determinacja. Potrzebne są wasze głosy. Potrzebne jest przekonywanie wszystkich. Podziały. Idę po zwycięstwo właśnie dla tych wszystkich, którzy byli przez PiS atakowani. Dla kobiet. Idę po zwycięstwo dla lekarzy i lekarek. Idę po zwycięstwo dla nauczycieli i nauczycielek, bo oni wszyscy byli przez PiS atakowani. Idę po zwycięstwo dla seniorów i seniorek. Idę dla młodego pokolenia, którym tamta władza nie miała nic absolutnie do zaproponowania.
Far-right candidates secured over 21%, including controversial politician Grzegorz Braun. The runoff will shape Poland's future. Trzaskowski supports EU integration and rolling back PIS's judicial reforms, while Nawrocki opposes liberal policies and promises to prevent a single-party dominance. The outcome could either empower Prime Minister Donald Tusk's government or maintain the current political deadlock. Turnout stood at 66.8%, while Nawrocki denies scandalous claims over a property dispute. He has received support from US President Donald Trump. A final exit poll, including partial results, is expected later tonight. Nikusor Dan, the centrist